Welcome back to Mornings with Jaresha. We are officially at the last Monday of September and the third quarter. Can you believe it? Can you believe that we are headed right into the fourth quarter? And for me, this is a time to really check in with self and your goals. Are you on target? And if so, high five to you. If not, then it's a time to start asking some really important questions. So we are at, it blows my mind to even think about the fact that we are at the final quarter of the year, the fourth quarter of the year. Boy, did this year just fly by. It seems like just yesterday we were focused on meeting the first quarter goals. And we are here now at fourth quarter, and I'm excited. I get excited every time we roll into a new quarter. But I know we all want to finish this year strong, and there's no doubt in my mind that you can finish this year stronger, bigger, and better. But it requires work, right? So let me tell you what work looks like, at least to me. That is planning, 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 planning. Okay, planning to me is the first step after you have put that vision on paper and gotten clear on your goals. And for me, that means it's time to really focus on your plan. So if you're not on target to meet your goals and really want to make this quarter the best quarter of the year, you have to sometimes make adjustments, okay? This is why evaluating is so important. We have to assess where we are, and we can't if we can't assess where we are, then we're not able to move forward and go anywhere. And if you don't know where you're at, then how can you begin to move forward? How can you go anywhere if you don't know where you're at? Now, I don't know about you, but it's not a good feeling to feel lost. And I know many of us have felt lost time and time again. And, maybe not more so, more so recently, but because we have these handy dandy cell phones, but we've all felt lost before, right? So we felt lost. And I know it's not a good feeling to feel lost, but we have these handy dandy cell phones that helps us find our way because we have maps and a GPS that's pretty amazing on our cell phones, and they do a really good job of getting us where we need to be so we don't feel lost. The GPS, it is set up in a way to where it sees your location, so it has to assess the current situation, and you have to know where you're headed. So where is your final destination? And then once you know that, it will guide you where you need to go. So I really don't know too many people who are just going around getting lost, right? So we're not just going around, especially if you have a cell phone, you're not going around getting lost because we have resources at our fingertips. So similar to the GPS, we have to access our current state and where we are before we can make plans for where we need to go. And similar to how, while you're on this journey and you're headed to your destination, your GPS makes some suggestions or gives you a quicker route, and it's often will adjust the route. So it takes, it'll still take you to your destination, but it'll get you there quicker, right? So it's going to adjust the route so that you can get there quicker. And we have to be willing to make those adjustments, right? So you have the option, and it doesn't just automatically reroute you. It makes a suggestion that you can save time by clicking, by going this route, or doing this. So that means as far as in our life, we have to be honest with ourselves and where we are, and if your goals are truly attainable. Now, some of us have some really big goals, and let me just say this. I think we should all have big, big goals, but we have these really big goals, and we have not created a realistic plan to accomplish them. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have these big goals, because again, I think we should have these big goals. We should always think big. However, I don't feel like we should be setting ourselves up for failure because we didn't plan right. So if you don't know, like so for instance, so if you know you need to be somewhere by let's just say 2 p.m. and your GPS tells you it's going to take you at least an hour to get there, you're not going to leave at 1:30 in hopes that you're going to get there in 30 minutes, right? Now, I know some people who will push it. And to me, that's being unrealistic and a lack of planning. There's no way you're going to get there on time by 2 p.m. if you're going to leave later. So, again, there's that lack of planning. We have to be realistic and make sure your big goals are broken down so that you can accomplish them. And I do feel like we have to stretch ourselves when it comes down to our goals, but we still have to be realistic and make sure it's attainable for us. And so we have to ask ourselves, are your goals that you're trying to accomplish really attainable? And what is your plan of action? Are you setting new goals? So for the last quarter of the year, do you have completely new goals that you're setting? And if you do, that's completely fine. Do you have a big goal that you're working on and plan to work on smaller goals to accomplish that big goal by the end of the year? So here's the thing that I really love about setting quarterly goals, and that is the check-in process. The check-in process, the being honest with myself and looking at what worked, what didn't work, my successes and wins, and that honest view of if I'm on target to finish stronger. And if not, then what is it that I need to do in order to accomplish it this quarter? Did you slack off last quarter? And if so, why? How did you feel about the quarter? How did you feel about this month? How did you feel about this last quarter? What would you have done differently? That's a really great question to ask yourself, because if you can begin to look at what you would have done differently, then for this next quarter, as we're running into the fourth quarter, you can actually begin to make those changes. Were you laser focused this past quarter? Were you laser focused? We have to ask ourselves, we have to really begin to ask ourselves these important questions. And it's a perfect time for you to start planning. Yes, it's fourth quarter that we're getting ready to roll into. But if you want to finish the year strong, you have to begin to ask yourself these questions, right? And maybe, the first quarter, second, third quarter was not the best for you. But guess what? You can't let that stop you from finishing strong. Don't let that stop you from working on you and your goals, dreams, and purpose. It's time to start planning. It's so funny because I have had several goal conversations with people, and it never ceases to amaze me when we talk about goals and some of the actions needed. And I ask this question: do you have your goals written down? Now, it completely blows my mind how many actually say no. It's in my head. And I'm like, what? It's in your head. So you're telling me that the goals that you have, your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your plan is all in your head. And my thought is absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then my next question is, well, how is that working for you? Now, I am sure that it's not the same way if you have a vision that you keep in your head. You have to understand this. So the way that you look at this. So if you have all of everything, okay, you if you have your goals, your dreams, your vision all in your head, how is it working for you if it's in your mind? How? I don't know how it's working for you. And I feel like it's the same way with our vision. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to get it out, but it wasn't coming out the way that I really wanted it to. So it's when it comes down to your vision, your goals, and your dream and your purpose, all of that, you cannot just keep that in your mind, in your head. You must write it down. So I really hope that you're not one of those people who thinks that your mind is this place to just store your goals and your action and the action steps, because it's not. Now, it's good for, I'm not saying that, we don't have those thoughts and those ideas, but what good is it if you have that thought, if you have that idea that's in your mind, or your goals that's just in your mind? You have to write them down. I like to say you have to think on paper. We have to begin to think on paper. You must write it down. You must write it down. I know we have so much going on day to day, and my question is, how in the world do you expect to keep track of everything if you don't write it down? If you don't write it down, if you don't make it plain, if you don't make a plan, if you don't take action, how do we expect to move from one step to the next? How can we do that if we're not even writing it down? So it completely just blows my mind on how many people are right now saying, you know what, I am a go getter. I am focused on my goals, my dreams, my purpose, yet you haven't even begun to write anything down. We don't realize how powerful writing your goals, writing your vision, we don't realize how powerful it is, because once your thoughts and then those action items, those tasks are on paper, you have a visual map of all the things you need to do or think about. And simply viewing your notes and your thoughts and everything that you've put on paper, simply viewing that will naturally help you get organized and set your priorities and help you focus on the high value tasks that you need to be completing. So planning is important as you set your goals for fourth quarter, and then making sure we're going to work the plan as well. And use your resources such as your calendar, your planners, to help you stay on track. Use a resource to help you stay on track. Now, I use a few different resources like my calendar. When I tell you my calendar is just, I love my calendar. I live by my calendar because everything goes on my calendar, even my goals check in. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. But I also use a project management app called ClickUp that helps me keep my stuff focused. Keep my stuff organized, and helps me really keep everything organized with my team. So it is an absolutely amazing project management tool that just helps us stay organized and focused on task, and it helps us with communication and the different pieces and the moving parts that are on and a part of each of the projects. And if you want to hear me, speak more about ClickUp and some of the other resources that I use within my business, let me know, because I would love to do an episode on that alone. If you feel like it's going to be something that's really going to help you and empower you with your own. And just because of the fact that I mentioned ClickUp for, that I utilize it for helping with staying focused and organized as far as business, know that you can still use that if you don't have a business, just to manage your own tasks, to stay focused on things. There are other tools. If you're not looking at ClickUp, there's other tools that you can utilize to keep track of your goals and the action items that you need to be completing and accomplishing in order to accomplish your goals, right? So there are tons of resources. We have so many resources at our fingertips, but we have yet to even tap into or utilize them like we should. So the apps really help me stay focused. And, that is the key. That is really the key when you're working on finishing the year strong. We have to really check our focus. Are you focused on the right things? Are you trying to multitask and nothing is getting done? Or are you laser focused on blocking time to focus on a specific project or goal? It's so easy to get off track. And we really have to be disciplined enough to recognize when we have to adjust our focus to get, more laser focus. And when you're trying to finish the year in this fourth quarter, let me tell you, I really feel like fourth quarter will do that. It will do that. It will help you, when you are trying to finish the year and you're looking at, what? This is the last quarter. I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. I have a lot of stuff that I'm trying to accomplish before the end of the year. And for me, it goes back to, when I started working on my yearly goals and I broke them down into quarterly chunks. Like, this is a project that I'm wanting to work on for this year. What can I be doing for first quarter, for second quarter, for third quarter, for fourth quarter? And having those check ins, those monthly check ins, the quarterly check ins, whatever's going to work best for you. But having those check ins where you can make sure you're on target to finish your goals, to finish the year strong, right? Finish the year strong. So, the final thing that I want to mention to you today, as we have this amazing Monday and week, that, we have to think about this fourth grader, that anything can happen. Anything can happen. So it's not a time for us to slack off, to give up and say, well, I'll just start back up next year. No, no, no. Okay. Why do you keep selling yourself short? Why? When you know you want to win. Go back to first quarter when you were pumped up about working on your goals and you were so pumped up about your goals and excited about your dream and your purpose that we have to go back to that and keep that same excitement, the same motivation, the discipline and encouragement, and really empowering ourselves now that we're heading into fourth quarter. So, if things did, so what if things didn't go as planned? Because that things happen, right? Things happen. So if last month didn't go as planned or the months before didn't go as planned, so what? It's a new, it's a new day. It's a new quarter, and you have time to position yourself and set yourself up. But make sure you're not bringing that defeated attitude into fourth quarter. So one of the things that I didn't mention that I want to throw in real quickly is that before I go into the next quarter, I'm looking at, like I said earlier, not just the things that is working that didn't work, but I'm really looking at what do I need to leave behind? What do I need to leave behind? What is some of the attitude? What is some of the behaviors? What are some of the habits that I need to leave in third quarter that I'm not taking into fourth quarter? So I wanted to mention that to you because that's something that truly, truly helps me stay excited, stay motivated, and really empowering myself as we're heading into fourth quarter. Yes, sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't. But we have to learn how to pivot. We have to learn how to adjust. It's going to be a new quarter, and you have time to position yourself and set yourself up for win and success. It's almost fourth quarter of this year. And winners are made in fourth quarter. Destinies are determined in fourth quarter. Champions are made in fourth quarter. Goals are accomplished in fourth quarter. A lot can happen in the fourth quarter. If you want this quarter to be the best quarter of your life, you have to push yourself. You have to work hard and get ready to execute. You have work to do. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready because it's time to execute. Let's get it. Let's go.